Hello once again, guys. Welcome to another SimRail video. While this still technically is a playtest, it has been immense. This railway simulator is going to be huge. It already is, as it should be. It's just extremely fun, especially in multiplayer. Even alone with a lot of AI, it's still great. It's got fantastic graphics, textures, sounds, physics, everything. And it's the only train sim of its kind with multiplayer, essentially, aside from Run 8. Yes, there's Run 8, but it's mainly American Freight for now, and it's got a bit of a learning curve as well, so it's something different. Plus, it's got Passenger, which Run 8 kind of does not. But there's a lot to look forward to with this for the full release, which is mid-January. But what this video is going to try to entail is just kind of like a quick start guide on how to get going. And hopefully this will translate later into the full release. So firstly, we are back in the main menu here, of course, which will be largely the same once the game fully releases, most likely. There may be some changes here and there. After all, this is a playtest, and I believe there's due to be a single-player playtest in a few weeks' time before the main release. But again, this is the main menu. You can, of course, find your controls, mess with the interface, your sounds, graphics, and all that stuff. But to get right in right now, if you are part of the playtest, simply click multiplayer, and all the servers will load. Now, be advised that the developers are resetting the servers every 6 hours or so just to make sure there's not a lot of things clogged up, trains stuck, signals stuck. Just all kinds of weird tomfoolery that may be going on. They reset it every 6 hours. So if you get booted, on the 6th hour, whenever that may be, that could be why. But, it may be best to choose your language, although I'm not saying you have to, because I've most definitely played with some Germans and Czech and Poles, and it's been absolutely fine. But for those that may speak English, you might want to go to North America. Click on that, and then you'll have all the servers. Last night I was playing on EN2 for a while with a lot of people from the community that pretty much knew what they were doing, and it was a fairly fluid server, and it was very nice. So you basically just choose one of these. I typically try to go with the one with the less amount of ping, which this one here's got 183. Just shot up to 266 though. This one up here says EN5 English only drivers. What that means is you just get in and you control a train. So there's no people messing with the dispatch. In that case, in which if you want to get in and drive and don't want to have to worry about somebody trying to learn dispatch and clogging up the signals, that might be the best for you. So just choose essentially whatever server you want to get into. And that's how you go. So from here, we'll go ahead and click that one. We'll hit next. Gonna click driver. And here you have your trains. Now, it kind of took me a while to figure these out as well. So we'll go ahead and start with the bottom. TME, that is a form of cargo. I don't know what TME stands for. If you know, down below in the comments, please let me know as usual. I would like that very much. But it's generally cargo, and it'll show you your scenario duration, so how long it should take. But one thing to really pay attention to is the time. So look at the world time at the very top of the screen here. It says 11:13 on the 10th of December. And then look at the timetabled departure time. So this is 11:25. So this isn't going to leave for quite some while. So hopefully if this is still here in a minute, I'm going to click on this in just a second, and we'll get rolling with that. TLE, I'm not sure what that is. That's another cargo. I think that's the first time I've seen TLE. So that's another form of cargo. TME is cargo again, just with the Trax locomotive, which is a very good locomotive within SimRail so far. TME, same deal, cargo. TCE is also cargo. Now LTE, it says other. Now, essentially, these are light engine moves, which, if you just want to mess around, that may be good, but they're kind of boring because you're not really doing a whole lot as far as I can tell. I think it's just a light engine move, and they typically are Trax engines. Now, TLK, when you see this is passenger. And they're all mainly going to be pulled by the EU07s right now, but it stands for, I'm probably going to butcher this, it's in Polish, Twoje Line Kolejowe or something, which essentially translate to English, your railways. And it's kind of like a low-cost intercity passenger train. So that's what that is. I think those are typically I don't know if they're the 3-car passenger trains or like the 9-car, because there's one passenger train that's got a ton of cars. So that's the TLK. It's kind of like an intercity, if you will. EC is this is like the really good stuff. So we don't have it right now. We can't play the Pendolino, but typically I think the Pendolino, when we do get it, is going to be in the EC category. That's what they call the Polish bullet train, for example, which I think goes up to 160, which is allowed because it doesn't have tilting in Poland like a lot of the Pendolinos. So, and I think that stands for Euro City. So that goes between a lot of the larger European cities in like Central and Eastern Europe, if I'm not mistaken. But it's a nicer form of train, a little bit more expensive, in real life and whatnot. But and then you've got your S classes all through here. If I'm not mistaken, those are your intercity or commuter type trains, and that of course is going to be the ELF, which is the electric low floor, which is why you say ELF, which took me a while to figure that out. And then you've got REG, which I think this is the first time I've seen REG is right now as well, which I'm assuming is regional, so it's possibly like a small region, maybe between a lot of suburbs within a city. And then TLK is the low-cost passenger service as well. So that's how you differentiate between all the different types of services. And I think that's it for now. Hopefully that'll be enough to get you going. But like I said, make sure, whichever one you click on, look at the current in-world time, which is 11:17 right now, and then look down at your departure time is 10:05. So if you load into this one, it will be on the move. So that's how that works. And then if you go and click on one like this one down here, let's see if it's still here. Departure time 11:25. So that's about to depart shortly. So I guess we'll try and hop in this and see if the AI dispatch, which the developers have updated several times already. They've pushed like 2 or 3 game or server-side updates already. And the playtest has been like, 4 days now? Just about. And I've been playing the crap out of it. This game is going to be immense. It's really fun. But anyway, let's try and get into that and see what we can get to here. All right, so I have clicked into the service, and as you can see here, I am not driving at the top. It says auto. You have to click to disable that to operate the service itself. So I'm going to let this go on for a minute. We got the nice crossing bell sounds. And it should break because there's a red light up here, 1,900 feet. So let's see what it does here. So, as far as I understand right now, these servers are all AI controlled until a human element gets in the server and takes control of one of these services. So, I'm going to go ahead and hit the tab key, and it's going to show you everybody in the service or the server right now. And we do have someone at Bedson. So this is a person who is playing dispatch. We got a lot of dispatchers actually. There's someone actually up at this tower, not too far. It's about 300 feet from here. It should be right up around that corner, I think, there. But we'll see. This thing should stop here in a moment. But this, of course, is the EU07, so you'll get passenger services and cargo services with this thing, and it's fairly in depth. The guys at SimRail, the developers, have made a tutorial of sorts where they basically explain how to operate this thing, and that's what I've gone through to kind of figure it out, as well as some friends who have kind of schooled me on how to operate this thing as well. So I'm going to try to make this as simple as possible, how to operate this thing, just to get you going. I'll probably get a lot of stuff wrong. There's going to be a lot of inaccuracies, as with a lot of my videos and things I try to explain, but it should be enough to get you going. So I'm going to go ahead and click Take Control, and it should kind of restart the service. There you see the brakes apply. It'll kind of shut off. It may reset. Now, before, you had to turn the radio on, and it was a bit of a kick in the nads, because sometimes it would screw the service up. But now they have it set to on by default. So if you look down, you see the little green light on your radio. That's on, but I go ahead and turn that switch on anyway. Typically, the radio channel should already be set for your zone, as far as I can tell. And while you're at a red, you're going to want to contact dispatch just to let them know you're here. There's a nice Pendolino going by there. That's AI only for the time being, but you will be able to operate those, which I cannot look forward to enough. Those things look very awesome. Been watching the heck out of some videos on those things in real life. But anyway, so when you're at a red, you're going to want to look at your signal up here, which we are at P2. Now, as far as I can tell, and have played so far, that's how you operate. I think we got somebody pulling up next to us here. Let's see if I can turn around and look, see if anybody's in it. Do the horn check. Nope, don't hear anybody. That's passenger service back there. That's the little intercity service, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to go ahead and let the tower know that we're sitting in a red and to please clear us. And I was playing with this person a moment ago, and they did a pretty good job of unclogging the system up. So let's see if we can get a clearance here. So I'm going to go down to the text box here and type in please clear red at P2. We'll put Bedson Tower just so they know. When able. And I'm going to hit enter. As you'll see my name pop up down there and your train service number. That is paramount. So 644026. Hopefully this person will get around to unlocking this for me, and then we can get on the move. Now, the radio, the thing at the bottom left, the chat box, that is only going to work within a certain range of the people nearest you. So if there's somebody 70 miles across the map, you're not going to be able to talk to them, as far as I know so far. It's going to be a proximity kind of thing, and it'll be between, you know, players in other trains and people at towers and whatnot. Hopefully this guy's not mad at me, because I kind of sat in a siding for like 30 minutes earlier and he wanted me to leave, so hopefully he'll let me go this time. It's kind of hard recording stuff in multiplayer, but you know, it's a skill issue on my end. But anyway, so Chatbox is how you can type between dispatch and other trains. You can also do push to talk, which, depending on what your keyboard is set up like, the key right under the escape key on the top left, you just hold it down, talk, PTT, let it go when you're done talking. Of course, don't spam it. You can get reported. You can click on someone's name, for example, like this. I think you can add them as a friend, talk to them. There's a mic, and then there's this where I think you can report people if you need to for whatever reason. Let's see, is he still? Yeah, this person's still in the tower. Hopefully they're not mad at me. Maybe the line's just you know, clogged up there. But anyway, to get this thing moving, at least we can kind of get into that. So it's going to start like this. I haven't ran into anything so far that you need to do a cold and dark start, which you can do if you need to, but I haven't run into any instance yet where you have to. So it should be in this state. So your train brake, which is up here, should be in full service. The loco brake should be empty. This is your tap changer right here. This is your directional control, the one on the right, and the one on the left is shunt. That's for finer power application. I haven't really messed with that too much. I don't fully understand it, to be completely honest, but you've got your switches over here in the middle. A lot of it's headlights, and then we've got our instrument lighting, which is here. Depending on what kind of service you're hauling, I've got freight, or if it's passenger, you can change the brake force selector, which is right here. So it's set to passenger, which typically is quick application and quick release, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll kind of just leave it there for now, but you could change it if you wanted to. You've also got a force selector to the wheels and low and high current, which again can be used for different modes, whether it's, you know, passenger, freight, etc. So to get this thing going, what you're going to want to do is make sure that the handle is at 0. Put your directional forward, and make sure none of these lights are on. Okay? If this green light is on up here, you should be ready to go for the most part. If any of these lights are red, just go through and reset some of these that may be overloaded. All these green buttons. And that should get you back in business. But for the most part, you're simply just going to make sure the direction control is forward, and you're going to put this thing on one power setting, the first power setting. And you'll notice on the bottom right, you'll see throttle position 1 out of 43, and you've got the current bar, meaning the power that you're receiving, right underneath that. So to get it to pop up, you've actually got to release the brakes. So I'm going to pull it back off, and I'm going to get rid of the train brake. I'm going to set it to, see if I can actually do it here. I'm going to set it to fill. So it's going to start filling the brakes. And you can see the brake hose in the bottom right going off. In some instances, if you need to hit this plunger right here, that is a quick brake release, which you can do as well. And there you go. You hear the compressor running for the air. It's dropping. Now we can go ahead and throw this sucker back forwards, which it already is. And then you're going to want to set your service or your train brake back to running, because otherwise it's just going to keep trying to fill the whole time. So set it back to running. And then I'm going to give it one notch, and it should give us some amperage. There we go. Boom. You can see it's blue down there on the right. But we're at a red. We're moving. I don't want to do that, so I'm going to shut it back off. I'm going to apply initial, and we're going to wait till we get a green. All right. It was a solid 15 minutes, but he gave us clearance. We now have a yellow. So I'm going to make sure we're back forwards here. I'm going to cut the brakes out. Set them to running. Give it one notch. There we go. We have amps. And we're going to give her some notches. Let dispatch know we're on the move. Alright, so you'll see this orange light. This is something to do with the resistance, and you don't want that to be on, as far as I can tell. Like I said, there's a fairly detailed manual that the guys that developed SimRail have left on their website, which I will link down below if you want to go and have it handy, because I usually keep it on my my other screen here when I'm operating this thing. But you want to go through these switches as quick as possible without overloading it. So you'll see the current going down, or the amperes. That's typically where you want to be. So knock it up a couple of notches and then let it go down. You don't want to just keep going through it. So let the amperes keep going down. A couple more notches. And this this needle that you see dropping here, second from the left, I think you want to keep it about in the middle. You don't want it to go over 600. There's the vigilance alarm. Space bar clears that. It will try to trick you, and I don't think it's on a specific time. It'll just kind of randomly happen. But anyway, so we're going to keep working through these notches. We're on 8. And electric locomotives are funky. They're awesome. They're extremely powerful, but they can be a bit finicky as well. But they take some doing. So we currently only have a 25 mile an hour speed limit, so I'm going to try and adhere to that. But we need to work through these settings as quick as possible. And we need to get to setting 28. That's where it'll kind of parallel the setting for like a higher speed and stop overloading the the electrical equipment within the train. This is our tower. This is our buddy over here in the tower that gave us clearance. Okay, maybe not. That one looks dark. I don't know where his tower's at. That's DSD again. So if you hit the tab key again, you can see who is nearest to you up here. It'll say distance 1,699 feet. So is he in front of us or behind us? So he's in front of us. He's coming up to us. You can see nearby trains, so on and so forth. So that's kind of who you're going to be talking to. We do have a fantastic delay, as you can see off to the left, but that's fine. We are coming up to a red at 1,600 feet. Hopefully that doesn't throw a wrench in things, but we're going to go ahead and run through these. As you can see, the light is still orange down there, but we're going to keep running up without that needle getting too high. You can see the voltometer, which is second from the left over here as well. There's a red line there. You definitely want to keep it under that because it will pop. All right, we do have a yellow now. I think he's pushed us through. It's DSD again. Gonna give it some more notches. Amps are looking good. Gonna give it some more. And there we go. You can hear the transition and the gearing in the back of this locomotive, which sounds phenomenal, might I add. I turned the sound down just a tiny bit, just so it's not super loud. But you can see the current dropped to like a shade of blue, which is good. So this is kind of like a medium setting, if you will, but it's not where you want to end up. So hopefully we'll get a decent speed here in just a moment. Alright, so he's putting us right side, which is where we need to be. We were left side running there for a moment. Let's see. Where's the tower at? Oh, did the guy leave? Shoot. I think he left. He got us going and he left. Dang it. Well, that was much appreciated. Alright. So we'll go ahead and start speeding up. We might blow past the speed limit here, but it's, you know, it's trying to be a bit of a tutorial, if you will. So, alright, so this is a nice area. We're at 165 amps, basically. It is climbing, but as you can see, that orange light isn't on anymore. So as soon as we give it another notch, it's going to go back on, because you can hear in the back, in the engine room back there, it's kind of downshifted again, if you will, in layman's terms, in dingus terms. So we're going to run through these again. We now have a 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. You can hear the fans or the blowers coming online, trying to keep things cool back there, because this electrical stuff gets very hot. Spicy meatball. Gonna give it 2 more notches. And once you get to 43, which you can see on the bottom right of the HUD there, it's going to go into another kind of like, good, we'll call it a good zone. So the whole point of this is you don't want to hang out in these middle zones as far as you can. Like, you want to be in 28 or 43. We're going to give it some more. Some more. Amps are coming down, but they're coming down a little slower. 42 and 43, and we are there. So that'll get you moving. That's pretty much most of what I know. A lot of I think where a lot of people are getting tripped up is the brake release, which is this plunger right here, making sure you got the right radio, and just, you know, making sure the thing is operational. As you can hear, it's kind of changed gear again. It's a lot quieter. The amps are still dropping. We are accelerating, but it's think of it like torque. It's not putting a ton of power down right now. It's more like high speed. So it's not going to be super torquey. That's the best way I can think. Let's see if anybody's in here. Didn't hear a horn. There may not be anybody in there. That's fine. Alright, looks like we have a yellow signal up there. I believe it's flashing. Let's see what happens here. Probably want to give a quick blast to the passengers on the station. Let them know you're coming. Says we do have a 62-mile-an-hour speed limit and about 1.5 miles. And so when you get up to the 43rd throttle position, that's pretty much it. And it may feel like, man, you know, I need a lot more power. These things operate passenger trains that go I think they go like 120 kmh at the very least. So what you can do with that is operate the shunt regulator handle, which I'm not totally sure what the keys are that operate that. I'm going to try and look here, but we've got a yellow again. I'm going to wait till the DSD tries to screw me over, clear that, and then look in the menu real quick. Shunt regulator, shunt regulator. All right, we've got another flashing yellow. Let's see what we got going on here. VMAX in the top right-hand corner was still green for a moment. Typically, VMAX means max speed on the line, or this particular line, as far as I can tell. I think that's how it works. Oh, we've got a... We're going to get put into a yard here. I'm not totally sure what this train's doing or where it's going. It's going to Dubrawa, which I know has had some trouble on the server side as far as AI dispatch. The developers have been working hard on trying to fix it. That is a red up ahead. Dude, is it really? Okay, Jesus, it just went to green. Scared the crap out of me. Good Lord. Alright, that was red. You guys saw that, right? We do have to slow down, though. We're getting speeding violations left and right now. Alright, so I'm going to go to the controls. Let's see if I can find the shunt boobop. Speed control, equal and minus. I don't think that's it. Shunt up, shunt down. So num star, num slash. Alright, so let's try and up this. So we're going to work back through the gears here, making sure not to overload them. Oh wait, first, every time you take it off and kill the circuit, you got to stick it back on 1. Wait till you get the little blue thing on the HUD down there for the current. We're going to slowly work back up through here. When you're already on the move and the train is having to do less work to get this weight going, you're typically better off as far as being able to not, you know, have to reset the thing by blowing a fuse or something like that. So we're going to keep going up. This DSD is tricky, man. I don't know much about Polish DSDs or this vigilance, but it's so random. Like, you know, SIFA with German stuff, what is it, like every freaking 1.7 seconds or something? It's like non-stop. This, it just seems super random. Alright, let's keep going here. Let's try and get it in 8. Make sure the brake's set to running. Alright, more notches. We are going up a hill now, so we are going to need... There we go. Now they shot up. Now they're working. We're going to need all the power we can get, because there are some hilly... I mean, this is largely a flat area, but there are some hilly areas here. Going to keep amping up here. Let those amps drop in the bottom right with each new position. Getting close. There we go. She's in, we'll call it overspeed or high gear, if you will. So we are in that 43rd position. So to kind of do a little finite power controlling, you can use the shunt regulator, apparently, which I haven't tried. I'm going to try it right now. So it's numpad star. Those cross and bells are so funny. The numpad star and slashy key. So let's see what star does. Nothing. See what slash does. There we go. In the top right hand corner, or sorry, bottom right hand corner, you can see again shunt regulator, the purple. It's on 1, so it's like notch 1 out of 6. And the amps went up pretty significantly. So we're going to try it again. 2, they went up pretty significantly again. So when you're at speed like this, your shunt regulator is like your your extra gear. You know, think of it like a road bike. You know, like a 21 speed or something like that. It's those higher gears that allow you to keep essentially just going at a higher speed. So we'll see what we can get this thing up to, even though we do have a yellow up here. We'll try it again. That's 3 out of 6. The gauges are still looking okay, but we are continuing to accelerate, and this is, now that I'm using it for the first time, is extremely helpful for going up hills. Gonna give it another one as the amps are dropping, though the amps are pretty dang high. Let's see if we blow it. That's 4. And we got a red light. Son of a biscuit. Alright. I don't want to ruin the whole deal here. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut the regulator off there. See, the blue light comes on. Orange light is on as well. We're going to start applying brakes. So we're going to go with initial service. And that'll start slowing you down a little bit. Now, we are a fairly heavy freight train, although I believe it's empty, but we're coming up to the red at about 2,000 feet, which I can just see. Initial might not be able to get it done, but if you have your keys bound to the train brake, it's kind of finicky. You can't really use the amount of air that you want to. So I would advise to grab the handle and just kind of give it a slap there with some air. Maybe put it back up to initial and then running. And I didn't do it that well, but that's how you brake for the most part. So that is the EU07. Hopefully you found that somewhat helpful. This thing can be a bit tricky to drive, but it is a very cool locomotive, and I'm looking forward to driving a lot more of it. But just to try and keep things short and sweet, that is all for now. I hope you found it helpful. Thanks for watching, guys. See ya.